Hammond. We've got Jeremy Clarkson's Hawkstone Pils today. This is famous from the Amazon TV show Clarkson's Farm. Hawkstone Brewery has taken the UK by storm. They won a gold medal, I think 2 gold medals at the World Beer Awards for the UK and England for their Hawkstone Lager. This one is their Pils version. And I'm drinking this one because I find it quite interesting. It is coming in at 3.8% ABV, and on the label, they're talking about grapefruit, pine, and a bittersweet finish. So that's not really what a Pils is, to be honest. If you're talking about German Pils, you're talking about a dryish, snappy, slightly tangy, crisp lager that has noble hops that can be kind of spicy, floral, lightly fruity, very lightly fruity. Or you're talking about like a Czech Pils, which is a bit bigger on the malt side, SARS hops, so floral, getting a little bit spicy, higher bitterness. And both of those pilsners are much bigger ABV. You know, you're talking maybe higher fours into low fives and slightly above. So 3.8 is very, very light. And I think if you had a kind of a pilsner that low and did everything else the same in terms of like either a Czech pilsner or German pilsner, it would be very, very thin on the body. So interesting that they've gone with a 3.8% volume ABV. And then they're going with grapefruit, pine, and a bittersweet finish, which makes me think they're using American hops. And 2 reasons why I find this interesting. One is that they claim that they use British ingredients for their beers. For their lagers, I imagine they're using Hanna Pilsner malts because that is, a proper premium lager Pilsner malt that is grown in Britain on British soil. It's a Czech derived like heritage barley. So that would make sense. That's what Utopian Brewing does. But then they're using American hops. And the only thing I can think of is that the hops can still be grown in the UK, but they're the kind of older American hops. So your kind of Cascade, that kind of hop, which has gone well beyond the kind of protections that these hop varieties have, and so it's kind of like an open source hop now, and so anyone can take the rhizome and grow it and sell it, and there's no kind of legal implications. So it's making me think that this pilsner is probably going to be using those kind of uh, early to late 80s American hops, which were kind of grapefruity, citrus, pithy, piney, some of them dank. And that really kicked off the kind of craft beer revolution on the west coast of America. Um, and then the fact that it's a Pils and then they're using American hops, it kind of makes me think about what's going on in terms of New Zealand Pilsners using New Zealand hops, and then also your kind of West Coast Pilsners, which are also kind of a thing at the moment. Um, so interesting, is this a West Coast Pils? It's very kind of sessionable strength. And I've tried the Hawkstone Lager, and it was very, very good. It very much deserved the gold medal that it won. It is a really good premium lager. So I'm interested to see what they've done with this Pils. So let me crack this bloody bottle open and see what's going on with Clarkson's Hawkstone Pils. There you go. Because it's a bit of an unusual Pilsner, I've gone with a bit of an unusual glass. So, look at that. Give it a tap. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks extremely light. A very, very light color. It is as straw can get. Um, Not much of a foamy head on it. It has gone quite quickly. It looks a very, very light bodied beer. Interesting, man. Very interesting. I don't know how they're going to get any kind of backbone to this beer. Is it just going to be very hop forward? Let's see. Okay. Smells bright, but also soft, if that makes sense. There is a kind of fruity, kind of citric uplift, but it's also paired with a kind of soft, almost in like a honeyed or like floral honey sense. So I think possibly that's your Hannah Pilsner malt. Not sure. That's what I think. That's the best option in terms of if you're going proper British ingredients and still producing a premium lager. That's the best option, I think. It smells really quite nice and really refreshing. I imagine your everyday beer drinker, someone who's not really big into kind of German lagers or Czech lagers, or really not even into craft beer, like your average kind of Clarkson enthusiast, usually drinks a macro lager, has gone, well, Hawkstone's Clarkson, let me give it a go. They all smell that and be like, that smells really nice. It's quite delicate. It's quite fruity. It smells quite refreshing. Yeah, man. Let's give it a while. There's a little bit of almost, I want to say lemon, like leaning towards lemon. Yeah, it's a nice kind of citric flavor. It's not on the sharp end like proper grapefruit. It is a nice, almost tropical, but not quite kind of flavor, aroma. Yeah, okay. So it has the classic Pilsner kind of snap. I call it like snap tang. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking about Rice Krispies or whatever, but no, like the classic Pilsner snap tang. It's bright up front. It lets that you're drinking a Pilsner, not a Helles or something soft. It is quite a bright and forthright beer style. So it definitely comes with that at the beginning. It is very, very, very light, but because of the bitterness, and then pairing with these American hops, which are delivering a kind of citric presence in the beer, they are getting away with the body not being quite as big as it should be. Like pilsners are supposed to be crisp, but there is supposed to be a little bit of body behind them. You get the crispness from the pH, then the final gravity, and then also the higher carbonation together with a higher IBU bitterness, and that all combined gives you that snap. So this is producing the snap, but it's missing the body a little bit. But to kind of compensate, it's giving you that New World American hop flavor to give it some balance. Yeah, in terms of like a sessionable beer, it's not bad. It's not bad. Uh, for sure, the Hawkstone Premium Lager that really impressed me. This, I'd say, is like you know on tap in a kind of regional brewery. This is our session beer. We got lighter beer. Some of them they'll call it like a session IPA, session pilsner, or whatever you want to call it. It's well made. It's not flabby. The body's a little bit thin, but that's what you expect at 3.8%. And they're doing something, fairly interesting with the American hops. So this is not like a a home run, a smash out of the park beer, but it is a good kind of beer to have in their range, and it's, they're ticking a box in terms of having something lower, sessionable, probably do really well um, in their pub in the summer, especially when people drive to the pub. They'll feel comfortable to have 1 pint at 3.8% and still be able to drive home afterwards. So I imagine that's kind of the thinking. This is good for pub locations. Um, it's a very very sessionable beer, and yeah, man, it's kind of ticking boxes marketing wise for people uh, to engage with Hawkstone without being put off. Say if they went with like a session IPA as their kind of sessionable beer, that might put off a lot of drinkers. They're kind of going for a more mass market, whole of the country approach, because that's what Clarkson can achieve. He can market to the general public, and he will pull in beer drinkers who normally drink Stella or Carling or Budweiser or whatever, Estrella, Moretti, those kind of drinkers will reach for a Hawkstone because of Clarkson, the Clarkson factor. And so them having their session beer as a session pills makes sense to me. And they've done a pretty good job of it. In terms of would I, drink this? I think I would much rather go for the Hawkstone Premium Lager. I want to try their IPA. I think I've got that in the fridge. I'm not sure what else they got on range. Definitely, I want to try their Hawkstone Black. They are a decent brewery. It's not a gimmick. It's not just because it's got Clarkson on the name that people are buying these beers. I think that would only last for a little while. Um, they are genuinely making good beers, and this is a well-made beer. But it is exactly what it is. It is a low ABV, slightly underbodied, but nice flavored, probably thirst quenching in the hot weather, American hops, citric, grapefruity kind of flavor, but nothing kind of crazy or, gut punching or over the top for your average general public, Joe Public beer drinker. So, in terms of the remit, the brewers probably nailed exactly what Clarkson has asked for, I imagine. So fair enough. Um, Worth a shot, worth a try. I'm not sure I would go again on this, but if I drove to Clarkson's farm, I wouldn't be displeased if my mate went to the bar and I said, get me something on the lower end because I'm driving. I'll have 1 pint. If they came back with this, I'd be fairly happy. I wouldn't write home about it, but I'd be fairly happy. So yeah, great brewery. They're doing the British farming community proud, like Utopian Brewing, but they're kind of going for the macro audience. So Utopian are really making British ingredients, British hops, and remaking or kind of making British versions of excellent German lagers and Czech lagers, which is really great. I love it. I love what they're doing at Utopian. Hawkstone are also using British ingredients, but they're not sticking so strictly to we have to use English variety hops in the beers. They're using British malts, and then they're using a noble hop to make their Hawkstone Premium Lager. And in this, their session pills, they're using American hops, and it's working for them. And a lot of people are drinking Hawkstone, and it's kind of become another brewing institution in the country. So fair play to them. Cheers.